This is a story about my travels down to South America, especially to Venezuela and Cuba. And in 2006, it was the beginning of the year, there was a World Social Forum in Caracas. Did anybody else here go besides me? Why are you laughing? Actually, people do have gone to the social forum. There was like millions of people there, so I wasn't the only one there. And so, I was invited by the social forum to go down. And this was the beginning of 2006, so it was just a few months after Crawford happened. And so I was like, I still am really, running around the world, literally meeting, doing rallies and speeches and everything, trying to bring peace. And working with peace communities here in the United States, outside the United States. So I was invited by the World Social Forum to go to Caracas for the World Social Forum in 2006. And I didn't know what the World Social Forum was at that point. I just thought it was a place where activists got together and had socials. You know, it was like this big party. And that's actually what it really is. It's like a big party. But we do some work too. We have meetings and we have rallies and workshops and forums. Have any of you ever attended a U.S. social forum?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Or a regional social forum?
Yeah.
We just had the Bay Area Social Forum in San Francisco. And so that's what the World Social Forum is, but it's just like, of course, on a much bigger scale. And so anyway, I knew about President Hugo Chavez, and the only thing I really knew about him was that he hated George Bush, and he was very vocal about it. And I was like, well, I hated George Bush, and I was also very vocal about it. And so I think Stu signed up at the last place. No, I don't. Okay. And so, you know, he had gone to the UN, and he had said that he thought he smelled sulfur, Hugo Chavez, because he spoke the day after George Bush spoke. And he went up to the podium, he's like, what's that smell? Is it sulfur? The devil spoke here yesterday. Do you guys not remember that?
Yeah, I do. It was great.
It was great. And so that's about all I knew about him. I didn't know what Venezuela was before he became president, and I didn't certainly know what he had done. And the first time I met him, he'd been president for 8 years. So I certainly didn't know. I knew that we tried to overthrow him once, and that was in 2002. In April 2002, the U.S. collaborated with opposition forces in Venezuela to try to overthrow Chavez. His people thronged to the presidential palace and demanded that their president be returned to power. You know, even people who didn't vote for him said, you know, that Hugo Chavez was democratically elected. How dare you remove our president? And so he was brought back into power. I talk all about it in the book. You know, I go into much more detail. But there's a fabulous film out called The Revolution Will Not Be Televised. Have any of you seen that film? Yes. It's a fabulous film about the coup. It's like these Irish filmmakers were in Venezuela making a film about Chavez and the Bolivarian Revolution that he inspired. And they were there with their cameras when the coup happened. You know, I was down there with some cameras in 2010, kind of just halfway joking that maybe something exciting like that will happen while I have my cameras down there. Not anything that exciting. I don't want anything that exciting to happen. And so, after I went to Venezuela the first time and I met with Hugo Chavez, he invited me to the presidential palace. He hosted me there. He hosted me on a big forum that he spoke at. I got to meet with him like 3 or 4 times that first time I was in Venezuela. And so, of course, he was like the rock star of the left, right? And at that time, I was a rock star of the left too. So it was really exciting to meet with him. But like I said, I still didn't know that much about him. What I knew about him was I met, because I've met with every foremost politician in the United States, whether they're Democrat or Republican. I met with them. I met with Hillary Clinton. I met with John McCain. I met with she was the senator from North Carolina, Elizabeth Dole at that time. Ooh. I met with I still shiver when I think of her. The meeting I had with her. So we were meeting. She agreed to a meeting. She wanted to meet with me. And I was talking to her, and I said, it's time that we end the occupation of Iraq. And she goes, "You call it an occupation?" I said, "What do you call it?" She goes, "That was a liberation."
Oh.
Yeah, so. Anyway, I'm not going to go down the list of everybody I met with. I met with, did I say Barack Obama? Yeah, I met with him in 2005 also. And I never met with any U.S. politician I met with. I didn't get any kind of warm, fuzzy feelings from them, even if they were on my side, even if they were so-called anti-war Democrats. I didn't get warm fuzzies from them. But Hugo Chavez, when I met Hugo Chavez, I met a real person. A person who made an effort to show everybody that was in his presence that he cared about them, that he genuinely cares about what you're saying. He's the kind of person that has to be close to you so he can touch you appropriately, not inappropriately. He's not like wink wink. Yeah, to touch you appropriately. And sometimes I crack myself up. I don't know, where did I get that wink wink? And make sure that he's paying attention to you and you're paying attention to him. And very personable, very caring. He knew all about my son. He wanted to talk about my son. He has children. Now he has grandchildren like I do. And the second time I went to Venezuela, the first time he saw me when I was down there was at this big rally. And a lot of people were up on the stage, the invited guests and dignitaries. It was an outside rally. And he drives up in his car and walks up on the stage and then makes a beeline right to me. Just like he sees me, makes a beeline, and he's telling me, "Cindy, welcome back to Venezuela. Our country is your country. Your son is our son." So it's just and he's not, when I meet with other politicians, it's like they're shaking your hand, but they're already looking at the next person, right? And not Chavez. You have his full and complete attention. So all I knew really when I left Venezuela was that I liked him. And I wasn't in love or, I didn't idolize him. I liked him. And so I'm still not in love with him. But I love him. And so I got home and people attacked me for meeting with him. Not just the regular knee-jerk reactionary right-wingers, but so-called left-wingers attacked me because he's an anti-American communist dictator. And I said, well, if you oppose American foreign policy, then I guess I'm anti-American too. If that makes you anti-American, I guess I am too. And so that wasn't the first time I was accused of being anti-American, though. The first time I was accused of being anti-American, I was 7 years old. And so my teacher had no idea. She called me anti-American, what was happening. But I told my story in Philadelphia. I don't think I told it at the bookstore. I was 7 years old. I was in second grade. I was like almost like and I'm not bragging, I'm just telling you the fact. I was the smartest kid in my class. And I never would volunteer, I never raised my hand. And so our teacher, this was in second grade, it was 1964. So it was right in the middle of the Cold War, the Red Scare. We had just really basically gotten out of the McCarthy hearing era. 64, of course, was right after the Bay of Pigs, the Cuban Missile Crisis. So here we are, and every Friday, if anybody's around my age, you know what I'm talking about. Every Friday, a siren went off, and you had to go into your desk.
Yep.
Because that was going to protect you from a nuclear holocaust.
Exactly.
And then about 5th grade, we'd be under our desk just like, oh, this is something stupid. We'd be like we'd be under the desk talking to each other. And we were like, what are these like magic nuclear bomb resistant desks that we have, And we'd be even saying stuff like, oh God, if there is going to be a nuclear bomb drop on us, we hope it's at 2 o'clock on Friday. So we'll be at school and our magic desk can protect us, And then I'm thinking, well, what about my mom and my cats? They don't have any magic desks. But anyway, in second grade, my teacher asked the whole class a question. She goes, what would you do if a red commie, remember they were always red commies, and see my book's red, came up to you and said, and put a gun to your head. So, I'm in second grade, and my teacher's she's abusing us, and saying, if a red commie came up to you and put a gun to your head, and told you not to say the Pledge of Allegiance, or he would blow your head off, what would you say? I know, right?
Pretty horrible.
She's like, what would you do? And so I knew this answer. I raised my hand. I was like, I know. And my teacher was shocked. She's like, Cindy Miller? And I said, I wouldn't say it.
Exactly.
And she's like, anti-American, wrong, go stand in the corner. I had to go stand in the corner for saying that I didn't want my head blown off. And so I'm over in the corner going, I don't care, I still wouldn't say it. And so, yeah.
It's common sense.
So my teacher, she freaked us out.